9961. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Amazing businesswomen are all around us, standing next to you at the lights, opposite you on the train, having coffee at the next table. So have a think. Who inspires you? It could be your manager, friend, or mentor. Incredible can come from anywhere. Nominate now for the Telstra Business Women's Awards at womensawards.com. Telstra, it's how we connect.
Hi, Jackson Trengove here from The Power.
Trengove, good-looking kick has swung back. Yes, it has.
Join me every Friday morning on the 5AA Breakfast Show. I'll share my thoughts on the weekend of footy and give you the inside word on The Power.
Trengove up, around the body. Goal!
That's every Friday, exclusively on 5AA.
Thanks to the Lakes Resort Hotel at West Lakes. The only thing they overlook is the lake. And 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Interactive radio. Call 8223 0000. Peter Godfrey.
Across the ditch we go to New Zealand. Selwyn Manning is joining us. Livenews.co.nz for some stories there. How are you, Selwyn?
Yeah, very good, Peter. How are things over there?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. We're glad we've had a quiet night weather-wise. We thought we were going to get blown away, but maybe the wind might be coming your way.
It's a bit of a bonus. Yeah, at the moment we've got beautiful blue skies, very, very cold. And was down to around about 3 degrees overnight here in Auckland, and just south of Auckland, about an hour south of Auckland and Hamilton, it was -1. But,
okay. How's the snowfields going there? They're getting some snow?
It'll be pretty icy at the moment, I'd say. But, the ski fields down on the South Island in particular have opened early, and some really good skiing coming. The people are saying, they've got the snow machines running, but people are saying it's just great conditions. So, certainly something that people are thinking of having a bit of a good old ski. It's a good, it's not too much, is it, to get across the ditch?
It's very tempting. It's very tempting, absolutely.
Certainly easier than going to Aspen in summertime, our summertime, that is.
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's get on to, politics, both stories this morning. John Key under pressure on a number of fronts, but... looking at a bit of an inquiry happening about his handling of the proposed Skycity casino in Auckland Convention Centre.
That's right. The Auditor General's office it announced yesterday that it's going to inquire into the way the government went about the proposals for this Auckland Convention Centre. Now, what's there is that it's widely believed that the Prime Minister interfered in the process of the tender and where that tender would go. This is to build this convention centre. And he admits he had talks with Skycity Casino. And the deal goes like this. John Key says to them, okay, if you negotiate a deal, you're likely to get it. This is what's widely believed, and the investigation will look into it. But, you'll likely get it. The casino operator, meaning Skycity, would build this $350 million centre. In exchange for building that, the government, John Key said, would change gambling laws that would allow it to have more poker machines on site. And that would be worth around, it's reportedly as around $42 million benefit per year to the casino. Now, the government has laws in place to reduce the amount of pokies in New Zealand over a timeline. Now, John Key is saying, while there's an increase at this casino, if this deal goes ahead, overall, the number of pokies will go down, but there's a few fishhooks in that, Peter, in the sense that the pokies in the smaller outfits like the RSAs, etc., that's our version of your RSL.
Yeah.
They've got pokies on site. They're supposed to reduce them, but the money from pokies that they get, there's a significant amount that goes through to a centralised, controlled area that puts money back into those communities. Now, the amount that they have to cough up to that body is less than what Skycity does. So the overall community has less benefit by a cluster at the Skycity casino. But that gives fuel to, like the Labour Party and the Greens, who are saying, this is appalling. Everyone's trying to actually reduce the impact of gambling and poker machines in our communities. And here's the government, led by the Prime Minister, who's saying, well, let's cluster more at the Skycity casino site, and that returns less back into the community. But beyond all of that, it's the process of this the tender selection process that is going to be investigated by the Auditor General's office, and that puts intense pressure on the national-led government in a week where It's already had to back down on its education plan that it announced in the budget, where it was going to reduce the number of teachers, which would push the number of students per class, the number of students up per class. The government's had to do a complete back down on that due to public pressure right across the country. We've also seen the ACC, that's the Accident Compensation Corporation, in disarray. In the last 7 days, it's had its chief executive resign, it's had its chair of the board resign, and it looks like there's going to be more resignations. The opposition parties are calling for the ACC Minister, Judith Collins, who's a very powerfully positioned woman in the National League Cabinet, to resign herself. She's resisting that, of course, but it's been like three months from hell for this national-led government, Peter.
Yeah, and that's starting to be reflected in polls, I take it.
It is, yes. The second point here, that the polls, they're starting to show this most populist Prime Minister that we've had in ages has started to actually, people have been turned off him. He's still out by a country mile, Peter, with 40.5% of those polled preferring him as the Prime Minister. Mm-hmm. So you've got to remember, this is the guy that was well over the 50% only a matter of months ago.
Okay.
And he's on his downward slide. The National Party itself, it's dipped as well. Now, in the election, it reduced down from over 50% support down to around 47%. Then after the election, it picked up for a short time. It's down to 45%. So it's on its slide. You can see the momentum is starting to change. Now, the problem being for the Nationals is that its coalition partners are getting very, very small support in the polls. You're talking 0% up to 1%, and really it's like the public is thinking, okay, we've had enough of this, and the benefactors, the ones who are benefiting from this is the Labor Green parties that are expected to form a coalition should the next election be held in 2014.
This is interesting, given we've got a Labor government that's only there because of support of the Greens, and the support for the Labor Party here is almost at bottom. Yeah. It's almost it's rock bottom. So interesting. You've got kind of almost the reverse situation to ours.
Well, maybe there is a pattern there, because remember, in many bulletins with you, Peter, we've spoken about Labor Party's demise in the polls in the past, where it sank right down to below 30%, which is, that's getting into territory where you're just not relevant. Meanwhile, the Greens have picked up significant support here, and the Green Party in the last, say, 3 years has really started to put out solid solution-based policies in the economy. That seems to tie in with a lot of people who are thinking, that actually makes sense to me now. Whereas perhaps a decade ago they would be branded as a bunch of greeny lefty loonies.
Yeah.
And you could see middle New Zealand thinking, no, we're not going that way. But now it's stacking up. The numbers stack up. It's not an alternative type of economy, but one that is solution-based and seems to be based on a rationale of reasonableness and also progress. And people are starting to switch on to that. Now, if you look at the numbers, the Green Party and the Labor Party combined are on 47.6%. So they're ahead of the Nationals, and they're ahead by a slither of when the Nationals and all their friendly parties are grouped together too. So there certainly seems to be a momentum showing here where the Labor Party and the Green Party holding hands could very much form a government on this kind of polling trend at the next election here.
Interesting times ahead. Selwyn, many thanks for updating us on those stories. We'll catch you again next week.
Okay, Peter. Take care.
Good on you, Selwyn. Selwyn Manning from Live.